there's 100,000 men and cows and donkeys in the band. Can't you hear that sound? Going all around. Tell me, don't you fear it? Can't you hear it? Traveling through the land. That's the clucking of the Ku Klux Klan. That's the gobble, gobble, gobble of the goblin man.
The KKK, or Ku Klux Klan, was first created by a group of Confederate veterans in Pulaski, Tennessee. Although it was created December 24th, 1865, there were many eras of the Ku Klux Klan, the biggest one being in the 1920s.
The KKK, having over 4 million members at one point in the 1920s, made it the biggest hate group in the 1900s. The Ku Klux Klan targeted mainly black people and Catholics. We found it interesting that the white supremacy group targeted white Catholics. They targeted Catholics because they immigrated from another country.
The KKK members wore white hoods or masks. They also wore robes. The Ku Klux Klan ceremony consists of burning crosses, or as they say, lighting it. They also had rallies to support their groups.
The Ku Klux Klan had a lot of barriers, and communities broke a lot of them. But sadly, racism is still a barrier and will most likely be for a long time. Communities broke some of their barriers in many ways, one of the biggest ways being police and some citizens. Police officers were involved in the Klan, but others fought for what was right, which is saving innocent people.
In 1870 and 1871, the Congress passed 3 enforcement acts that protected the rights of African Americans to vote, hold office, serve on juries, and receive equal protection under the law, therefore stopping the KKK. These acts, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Acts, targeted the Klan for acting furiously to prevent African Americans from exercising their right as citizens.
The barriers of racism are still a big part of our country. Like in 2006, an officer in Nebraska was fired from his job for confessing to joining a racist hate group, which was the biggest in the country at the time. Our nation is still breaking barriers of hate and discrimination. In 2008, after Barack Obama was elected as the nation's first black president, Wyoming's KKK leader, John Abar, stated he saw a rise in membership. His group met with the leaders of the NAACP in a historic meeting between the opposing groups. They discussed issues about the KKK wanting to secede from the U.S. and violent and hate crimes against black people. We still have a long ways to go. In 2016, on the outskirts of Cedar, Georgia, a cross was burned. There was another boost in membership in 2017. As of 2017, the KKK was still active in 22 states, and there were 40 identified groups. The Southern Poverty Law Center tracks hate groups across the U.S. Last year, they had identified 940 hate groups and 47 KKK groups. In conclusion, the KKK is still persisting, especially in the southern states. Groups such as the NAACP and other anti-discrimination groups are working hard to combat hatred and racism. Our country has passed and it is enforcing laws to discourage racism. In general, it is socially unacceptable in communities to belong to a hate group such as the KKK. While this is mostly true, there are still racist attitudes that we must continue to fight against.
That's the gobble, gobble, gobble of the goblin man. They call round in their 90s, and if you're not your best,